You know, I gotta be honest with you. The kids I am teaching this year are among the best kids I have ever worked with. Hand to God, they're terrific. And I was a little bit nervous at the beginning of the year before becoming a full-time middle school teacher because middle schoolers have reputations that precede them. Reputations for being a little, how shall we say, argumentative? Oh yeah, they do. In fact, when you were in middle school, I bet you were argumentative as well. Hey, comment down below and tell me the silliest argument you ever got into with a teacher or a grown-up. I know at that age, I was constantly testing boundaries and questioning adults and believing that everything I knew was absolutely right, which is ridiculous because we know our brains aren't even fully formed until we're 25 years of age. So to think we know everything at 12 is just ludicrous because our brains are still filled with fluff and poppycock and nonsense. And now more than ever, in this distance learning environment, in this virtual classroom, this virtual world we're living in, we have a tendency to maybe put walls up, different, stronger walls than ever before. So today I want to talk about one of the most elementary, that's not even a word, elementary rules of improv. And it moves us away from argumentation toward collaboration with two simple words: yes and. Stay with me. Yes and. It's a concept, a philosophy at the very heart of all improv. And it opens up our imaginations in a way that no actually never could. When we hear yes and, we feel validated. When we hear yes and, we feel understood. When we hear yes and, we feel excited about the possibilities that lay before us. But when we hear no, actually, what happens? Our fight or flight responses are triggered, cortisol kicks in, and our entire system literally shuts down. We tense up, our brains go blank, maybe we start getting angry, and all of a sudden, like I say, we just shut down. And when we shut down, we are not in a space where we can create or collaborate with someone else. But with yes and, the possibilities are endless. So how do we practice the concept of yes and? Well, very simply, we begin with a simple exercise involving two people. Now you choose any two people from your Zoom gallery and you're going to put them into a situation. They're going to have a relationship and a set of given circumstances. So let's say, for example, there are two people trying to decide where to eat lunch. Now to begin with, as your students are first starting to get used to the concept of yes and, you can actually use those words, yes and, at the beginning of every sentence. Once they begin to kind of process it and get it into their bodies and get it into their minds, you can let go of it and simply go with the concept, the idea, rather than saying yes and every single time. But to begin with, especially for people who've never explored improv before, it's probably best to actually use the words yes and at the beginning of every sentence. So for example, back to the situation of two people deciding where to eat lunch, maybe it begins with something like this. Hey, let's have tacos for lunch. Yes, and we could take them to the zoo. Yes, and when we're at the zoo, we can check out the monkeys. I love the monkeys. Yes, and I love it when they eat bananas and throw poop. Yes, and the thing about bananas that I especially like is when we put bananas in a banana split. Yes, and I love a banana split made with pickle ice cream. Yes, with cranberries on top and maybe a little pickled herring. Yes, I love pickled herring on ice cream. So you see where it can go. It can get really, really silly, but it can get a lot more imaginative than if we were to simply go, hey, let's have tacos for lunch. No, actually, I'm not in the mood for tacos. Oh, and then where do we go? Right? I mean, the conversation is dead in the water, right? But if we allow ourselves to really build upon the information, the message that the other person has given us, sky's the limit on how creative it can get, how much we can use our imaginations, how silly it sometimes get, and how much fun you really have. It involves effective listening skills, collaboration, teamwork, and really just kind of the validation of another person. Because, you know, especially like I said at the beginning, in middle school, a lot of times we're just programmed to be at odds with each other. And this is a great way of starting to train kids, people of any age really, with exercises that get them to agree more than disagree. And they can see how much fun they're able to have when they collaborate rather than only focusing on their own voice or their own agenda. Because once they start using their own agenda, all of a sudden it becomes all about them. And if we make everything about the other person, then again, sky's the limit on how big our imagination can get and how creative the scene can become and what we can discover and new ways of problem solving. Really, I mean, the implications are endless. So, hey, I hope you really enjoyed this video. If so, do me a favor and smash that thumbs up button for me. And if you like this video, then check out this one. It's another great one as well. If you're enjoying all my videos, why not subscribe to my channel and I'll keep them coming. Stay safe out there, be well, take care of yourselves, and take care of someone else. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.